Welcome to Happily Ever After. This is the Raj family, and we are still continuing with our interracial marriage, part 2 of arranged versus love marriage. And if you haven't watched part 1, please feel free to go and watch part 1. And this is the continuation. I have more questions, and I'm sure you have more questions as well. Now, did anyone tell anything negative about our relationship or about me before getting married?
I know there are people that had their opinions, maybe like, I wonder if this was gonna work just because, he's Indian and you're Hispanic background. So kind of like just a thought someone mentioned, but I think, and then maybe some people sometimes at the very beginning that I didn't know you as much in depth, like, maybe he's like this or like that. And it does plant seeds, but at the same time, it helped that we already had a friendship. Before you even came to work and I met you, some people had their different opinions, like, he's not so good necessarily, with more like confirming my thoughts about Indian men. So like they don't like to be under ladies working, but you came to a place where it was all ladies, and actually people that I respected and knew you, they really spoke very highly of you, that you were respectful, that you were very humble, and I could see things. So with everything, I would take lightly what others would say that maybe were just comments and not necessarily they really knew you for a long time. And so I think I had more confidence, even though everything everyone says does plant a seed of maybe a thought, but not anything big. How about for you?
I think most of them were like, there was no issue. They actually appreciated, and as you know, some of my friends wanted us to be in relationship, but there were some thoughts about your previous relationship, and that might be the same with us as well, and that to be careful. But then again, knowing you personally and knowing what actually happened in the past, it was like, okay, the math is not mathing here, because I know how things were, and I'm someone who evaluates, and seeing that I can understand how or why they perceive the way they perceived, but in reality it is not the case.
That's a very good point, people. Like, get to know people yourself, hear to comments, but if they were not close to the person really knowing them and there was perception, be very cautious, because sometimes people that are not really close to people have very strong opinions about people. And that's something we're learning just in life. The importance of really knowing the situation, the person, before you have strong assumptions without clarity of the whole thing. And I think, that's an interesting point, because of previous relationships we've had that didn't work out and we moved forward. We both people thought we would leave people at the altar.
Basically.
And they didn't know the whole story, and that was how they felt. But if they knew everything, they would have a better understanding.
And I think someone shared similar thing about me with you, or with your family as well. And I agree with you sometimes. But how I do see is those that are in relationship, they have to see it for themselves. Because there is going to be 100 different people saying 100 different things. And we cannot go and correct all the 100 people. But how can we correct ourselves in the mind? That's what I would see. Like, okay, this person is saying this thing, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to blindly accept everything that they are saying, and I'm not going to reject everything they're going to say. I'm going to listen to it, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt.
And especially when it comes to character of a person, through time, how people notice, are they kind, are they helpful, are they honest? Those things have weightage, just their reputation and their impact in society, in work, in everything. But perceptions of like how exactly the person deals with stuff, or maybe even relationships, if someone was in a previous relationship, that's very complicated to give your opinion unless you were super close to both and understood the whole story. Because generally people will have their opinion like, oh, why did they break up with them, or they were a good couple, or like, but only the couple and those that really know both well could have a clear understanding, because sometimes even after a breakup there's not a clear understanding of all the details. You just know this was not meant to be, you didn't have peace, you saw red flags, maybe the other person as well, or maybe it was one-sided, but no one can truly see the whole thing that the couple went through emotionally, internally, in their prayer life. So that's very complex and it's very hard to diagnose from the outside. Even parents sometimes cannot really understand everything that a couple goes through.
True.
So, yeah.
And that's why I think it is very vital for the couple to have a friendship first, not just jump into a relationship. Oh, she looks great and someone recommended, or he has a nice personality and he's making a lot of money, so let's just move forward. No,
Very important.
The main thing is to have a friendship first, because that's what helped you, that's what helped me as well when people said certain things. Yeah. It's a very interesting dynamics, but thankfully we had that solid foundation, which is called friendship, that helped us to move forward from what other people said, because it didn't match, right? They said something
We knew
about
more that made the story more complete, and others maybe throw pieces but disconnected from the big picture that we already knew. So that helped a lot.
Yeah. So that is another thing that I really like about having this type of like love marriage instead of arranged marriage, because when it comes to arranged marriage, that becomes a huge deal. If someone says something negative about the girl to the guy's family, or vice versa, immediately the family is involved and trying to figure things out, and then it's labeled like bad person. And that not only affects that particular girl or the guy, but also it affects their future, like not in the present but also in the future. Like if there is someone else that is going to go, the society is going to be like, oh, you're going to go to this girl's house for checking them out, or we saw the guy's family come here, they already had this type of issue, and the stories become even worse, because you're not even giving a chance for the guy or the girl's family to speak with them. Already there is a negative connotation going on in the life, and people add fuel to the fire, and things get even worse. And I think that is one thing also that I don't appreciate with arranged marriages, because with love marriage you get to know the person personally, first-hand information.
That's a very, very good point.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of difference, because you're basically, the society is going to destroy the guy's or the girl's life forever, period. Unless they elope or do something else, they are under this bind, because in the previous engagement or relationship or friendship, so-called friendship, there is a bitter experience. People outside don't know what actually happened within that couple or within those families. They're going to spread stories, and that is going to damage the character, the life, everything. So many times what people do is they go to another state or somewhere else where people don't have any idea about what has happened.
That's terrible, actually. I mean, it's like intense gossip that ruins someone's
It
future.
is. Mm-hmm.
That's the sad part of certain tradition, or not traditions, but
Mindset.
ways of doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we really, really encourage people. If you're in a relationship, just be so open and clear about everything. Because if you are hiding, things might come out in different ways. And that will ruin your relationship. That will ruin the trust. And yes, there is a time and there's a way of sharing things. But if you are open and honest, there's nothing you should fear.
Exactly.
The person will know everything about you better than anyone else. So whatever anyone else says won't be the complete story. But there are sneaky, I don't know if sneaky, but people that really want to destroy relationships as well.
Yeah.
And throughout our relationship, we face sometimes that. Like someone would be like, oh, Martin did this or that, and come to me and share negative things about him. And because we had a lot of work-related things in common and other things, they would speak negative things. But me knowing him, I knew they were either exaggerating or trying to gain pity to make things, to get points, or I don't know, to just divide us. And the same happened with you. One time he came and said, did you say this or did you do this? I was like, no, this is a story. And it was completely different.
Yeah.
So if we don't trust each other, people will definitely lie and share things for whatever reason and motive. But we need to know that from the beginning, there's that clear trust. Because if we are not trusting each other on our life, then whatever someone else says, and then I may ask you, but you say something and I'm like, I don't believe him. So probably he did this. So then, a relationship cannot flourish.
It cannot thrive. It cannot thrive. It cannot even survive on that type of mindset because you don't have a proper foundation. You don't have that friendship. You don't trust each other. And anything anyone says that is going to ruin your relationship. And it is waiting for a disaster to happen. And that's not how it should be.
Oh, on this topic, there's so much. So we'll also leave it for another episode on trust. And because that took me a while to build, but it can be built when we are honest and open and genuine and consistent. Not today I'm honest, tomorrow I'm like in the gray zone and trying to evade and hide. So yeah. When we talk about marriages, how is it in India, the whole wedding ceremony planning? Like, how is it culturally there, that aspect of,
Okay, so it's going to take days for me to explain the whole thing. That's how it is. Because in India, when you say a small wedding, it is around 300 to 500 people. Even smaller than that is 200 people. But usually when you say 300 to 500 people, it's a small sized wedding. Big sized wedding, it can go to even 5,000 people. And I don't even know how they manage to do those things. And it's usually because the people are rich and also they make a whole lot of money through the gifts and all of that. But there is a whole lot of work, effort that goes into it because here it's not just about, let's take it as an average of 2,000 people and an average 2,000 people. You need to find a hall, we call it as a hall, wedding venue. So you need to fit in all these 2,000 people. You need to make sure that everyone is fed. Feeding is a huge thing. If people don't get food, there are friendships that have been broken because of not being fed in marriages. And it's unfortunate, but that is true.
And it's not just like a little plate.
No. So in Hindu weddings, you don't find meats usually. It is vegetarian. They have it with different dishes. It's more like if you go to an Indian restaurant and you ask for thali, it looks similar to that, only that you get more. If you go to Muslim or Christian wedding, there is meat in it. So the one of the things that they have is mutton biryani, my favorite. Even though I don't eat meat now, but mutton biryani is my
It's like
top.
lamb.
Yeah.
Lamb biryani.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Mutton is goat.
Oh, go.
So yeah, it's a very nice flavor of rice that is mixed with goat meat, different seasonings. And I'm already drooling here.
I can see it.
If you can hear me swallowing, you know what's going on in me, in my mouth. So that is one thing, and then and people are really dressed well. Also, they wear a lot of jewelry. Women, they wear a lot of jewelry, and I think that is more like a fashion parade because all you see a lot of women wearing jewelry, expensive saris. Saris is Indian clothes, Indian clothes
Yeah,
that
dresses,
women
basically.
wear. Dresses, yeah, that women wear. And
Which is a whole other style. If you're not used to it, you just need to learn. And I'm still learning to wrap a long fabric all around. But it's beautiful.
yeah, and once you learn it, it's kind of easy. But anyway, my wife is making faces, so so that is there, and then the decoration. So usually they hire people to take care of the whole thing, and the family is involved more and more. Family and friends are more involved when it comes to serving, when it comes to serving the food and all of that, or even to guide people. That again, depending on each family's way of seeing things, because some people they just hire people for everything, and then the company would come and take care of the food, guiding people.
And a
From
lot
one
of
thing
flowers,
to the
like
other.
fresh flowers, no? Or fake
Yeah,
flowers.
big time. Oh no, fresh flowers.
It's
yeah,
like a
big time.
lot.
Yeah. But if there is a family that is more into having close friendships and all of that, they have friends and family that take care of those things. So the family members come, they serve the food. One of the things I really hated, I think I still would hate if I have that opportunity, is while you're eating, they would come and record you. So
Oh.
yes, video recording, not pictures, not selfies. They would record you. And I think that is to show that people were fed, people were happy, and who all were there. This is for
Like a wedding video.
wedding video. Yeah, but you don't need to record people eating, but I think it is something that
It's a highlight of
it's
the
a
wedding.
highlight. Exactly. In Indian culture, food is the most highlight. After, of course, after how much jewelry or things that the bride wore and how she was dressed. Besides that, the highlight is food. People eating food. So they would come, and this is a couple decades ago. They have this bright lights. They will put it on your face. And while you're eating, they would record it. And I did not like it because I don't want people to see me eating, you know. And I don't think a lot of people would appreciate that anyway. But it's so funny. A lot of funny things happen there. So when you see in the corner of your eye, you see someone is coming to record, or the videographer is recording, you eat as little as possible. You want to be fancy and very careful and having all those etiquettes. Yeah. Once it passes, you go and destroy the whole meal there. And also another funny thing that happens is people are sometimes too shy to ask. I don't know if they are too shy or it is their way of getting more food. They will call the person that is serving. They will say, oh, they need something, and can you also put something for me? So it happens. You might have seen it in videos. If you have not checked out in other people's YouTube channel, check it out. It's so funny, and it's not made up. It is actual stories that they have made it into videos. So that's really funny. And then the other thing is, they might have a smaller hall for serving meals. So they will have like 2 or 3 batches of people to come and eat at the same time. So the first batch, when you go, you will have to eat quickly so that the second batch will come to eat. So they'll have to serve all of that. And the third batch, I think only the ones that eat in the end are more relaxed, or else you'll have to hurry. I still remember at someone's wedding, I don't know whose wedding, that was a little kid, and mutton biryani, of course. And then we had to move on because the next batch of people would come to eat. And then the guy is already rolling the paper, which is set for the tables, so that after you finish eating, they will remove the paper and then they'll put fresh paper and banana leaf. And I'm seeing this guy is rolling up, and my mom is like, Martin, you need to hurry up. They are rolling the thing. I took all the pieces of this goat meat. I had it in my hand because I didn't want to give up on it. And I was eating one after the other. And then we had to go and wash our hands. And my mom, she finished washing her hands and was about to wash my hands. And she's seeing like my hands are closed, or my right hand is closed. She's like, what's in your hand? I still have mutton. Oh, you didn't finish it yet. No, finish it soon. Don't rush me. So, one of my memories from childhood, that's something, I don't know, it's stuck in my head. So, yes, that is how it is in India. Huge weddings are called as normal size, medium to normal size. How is it here, love?
Well,
Or how is it in Argentina? Or
so I'm not sure about here or Argentina exactly the protocol. I know that definitely people enjoy going to weddings, I think anywhere in the world. But if you're not invited, generally it's not proper to just go to a wedding. But I grew up knowing that you can choose what you want to do. So it can be from a small wedding of, just 10 people, if you like it really small and personal, to weddings of hundreds of people. Never thousands. I never saw such a thing. But hundreds, yes, So I always envision inviting as many as possible, like as many as we could think of, not just everyone, like just come even if we don't know you, but anyone we knew and we felt connected with to invite. And then hopefully have it simple enough that it's more about the gathering, the meaningful time, than just the glamour and the food. Like for me, that was not necessarily vital because I thought, maybe we have like an evening wedding and it can be just refreshments and like snacks, finger food, because that's very common in Argentina to have like a lot of finger foods, things like that. So not necessarily you get like huge meals. It depends the couple. And it can be simple, it can be fancy, but one time I went to a wedding from this couple, and this was in Europe, and they decided to do kind of potluck style. So they had different things like spreads, pastry, and like different breads and things like that. And then they had desserts, and each one could write what you wanted to bring. So each one, you could write, I want to bring a pie or a cake or this or that. And then they had like a small restaurant close by that they were friends with, and they provided part of the things. So with everyone coming, there was plenty of spreads and breads, and in Europe, there's so many options, and then a lot of desserts. So it was beautiful, but they didn't really have to spend that much, and they were very budget type of couple. And then even the clothes, they decided not to spend too much money, so she could later keep wearing the dress. So it wasn't like a fancy wedding dress, it was more like a very modest and nice dress that then she wore it for Sabbaths. And I was like, okay, well, I definitely want my wedding dress, but I also wanted not to spend like thousands on a wedding dress. And actually, it was my goal to do the most budget-friendly wedding, but also certain things were important to me. So like to have good photos or a good video. And then when we were planning our wedding, for you it was like food has to be there. Like that's an important part. So I was like, okay, we'll compromise on this. Like we will come to a middle term. The food will be the food you choose and the menu you would like. And then for decoration and things like that, we had some friends that actually graciously gave some of their wedding decorations. And then we got some other things and made it simple. I always wanted more of an outdoor wedding because for me, pictures indoors were not the same.
Yeah.
So I was like, I so want an outdoor wedding. I always dream of a beach wedding. But then I was like, that might be hard. And it was a little more complicated, the venue thing. And also being at I don't like my hair blowing. And in the beach, generally you will have. So I wanted a perfect beach wedding with no brisa. So I was like, I'm not so sure about that. My hair will be like, and then I will be so like, uncomfortable with that. So I was like, maybe we can take pictures at the beach, but not necessarily have the wedding there. And so we decided that actually we would do a wedding, a destination wedding, because it was winter time and where we lived, it was cold. So we said, let's do it, on a state that it's more
warmer,
sunny, warmer. So we chose Florida. We liked it.
The sunshine state.
And so we had no idea of destination weddings, but we invited as many people as we could remember. And we do have to say we apologize for anyone that is close to us that for some reason we did not end up inviting. And later on we were like, have we invited this person or that person? And we're like, because in the moment you make a list, you try not to forget anyone, you go through, but then things do, not everything you remember. And some people you do like remember later that you wanted to invite and it didn't get on the list. But we invited more than 200 people.
I would say close to 300.
Yes. So all over from our countries, all our family, all our friends, co-workers, different people, everyone we could think of, we invited that we felt connected with. And then it was a destination wedding. So we ended up having actually a very small wedding, like 45 people, because we made it on a corner, Pensacola, Florida. Like flights were not as common. So even family that I had in Florida were not so easily able to come because of flight connections and this and that. So we were like, okay, we learned. Destination wedding, probably you will get 25% of people you invite. And even if you choose a place where people live there, depends what location of the state might be, they might not even be able to come. So
and also to add on it, it was on a Tuesday. Our wedding was on a Tuesday.
Yes, so we chose a date that actually matched with our anniversary.
The day we started our relationship, it was the same date we chose
2 years later. So it was a very meaningful date. Plus, sometimes it's easier to find venues during the week, and a lot of things just worked out better. But a lot of our dear friends' family couldn't make it. And so after we had planned the date and the venue, we realized, whoa, some people that really wanted to come cannot come. So that was something that we learned, but we cannot repeat it. By God's grace, it will never have to be repeated.
Maybe for our 5th year anniversary.
I mean, but yeah, so I guess I had a desire to have a wedding that we won't put limits on people, but that it will be people we're connected with, just not people for people. That is different from India.
Yeah,
because you might not be connected, but they feel connected or they're connected to someone else, and so it's a very different mindset.
Yeah. Sometimes some people you won't even see, but then when your wedding is getting closer, they will become your best friends out of nowhere.
It's crazy because, yes, maybe you get a good meal, but the rest, it's just couple hours.
Yeah.
But it's so, I guess, no matter the culture, no matter the situation, everyone loves weddings. I think God put it in our heart to love marriages, to love, to desire that. It's just
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
special. I mean, maybe some people don't like, but in general,
Yeah.
people are happy to go to a wedding.
Yeah.
And so we have very good memories of ours. God blessed us with a beautiful sunny day in the midst of, it was kind of rainy, but at the
It
moment,
it was kind of rainy in most of the places, even in our venue. It rained for maybe like 30 minutes or even less, and not a heavy rain. It just rained a little bit, it stopped, and it made the place nice and cool. But surrounding areas, my brother, my friends, and I, we had to go after setting up the venue. We had to go refresh and come back. On our way to the Airbnb, it was pouring. It was pouring, and I was like, God, what is happening? I remember my mom asking me, "Son, do you want the wedding outside or inside? Because it looks like it's going to rain." I'm like, it's gonna happen outside. Because I was praying, and I know my wife wanted to have an outside wedding, outdoors wedding, and God is going to protect. And it came out beautiful because the rain that came, it cooled the place. It was not so hot, and everything worked out perfectly. And also, even though we had only around like 45 people, I do not regret that at all. I do not regret having that people, because it was even better for us to connect with more people. I mean, it would have been nice to have more people.
yes. But it was a small group and it was meaningful, even though we missed certain key people that couldn't make it, including my like sister. I call her because she's like my best friend, and we've adopted each other as sisters because I only have a brother, and she couldn't make it, and that was terrible. But God was good and blessed us even with those things that were not as we envisioned, but He gave us other beautiful blessings on that day. And we decided to do the wedding ceremony with our like Western clothes, what I grew up as a little girl dreaming of, my white wedding dress and everything. So I had looked for it and I had it. And then we also wanted to have a little taste of the Indian tradition and clothing for our reception. So actually,
So,
this in itself has so many miracles, our wedding story, but I had my reception dress that I shared in the other episode, in the previous episode. I had gotten my dress and my reception dress like a year before our wedding. So I had it all ready. Beautiful dress, everything. But when we decided together that we were getting married and all the details, then we needed to get something for Martin.
yeah.
And from India, the clothes arrived just couple days before the wedding, and it fit perfectly, and it was just beautiful to have that. So we had Indian food, some Indian background music, and some Indian.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was
Clothes.
going to share this miracle that it came. Yes, the Indian clothes came, but it didn't come to our. No, it came, but they returned it for some reason. We didn't receive it at all.
They say they couldn't find our address, so they were returning it. And this was like a week before our wedding. And we were traveling to Florida, so we were not even going to be at our place. So they are like, oh, we're sorry, we couldn't deliver the package, and it's being returned to India. I'm like, please don't. Our wedding is in like a week. We need that, please. And I think God brought an angel.
Yeah, because we called the company, we called them, we told them this is the address. If they returned it, they didn't even check anything, they just sent it back. And please don't let it leave the country. And then we called them again. And then on Friday, right? Friday, so our wedding is on Tuesday. The Friday before the Tuesday, they finalized everything, and then Debbie spoke with them, and then they figured out, okay, the package, we will send it to you. How long did they say it'll take?
Like 2 days.
2 days.
2 days, and they said, okay, you're gonna be in an Airbnb in Florida, so we will send it directly to that address. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. We talked on a Thursday. It was gonna arrive like that Saturday or Monday, and our wedding was on Tuesday. So we were praying, and the next day, Friday, before the afternoon, I think at noon or so, the package was at the door of the Airbnb. So we were like,
blown away. Like,
and it
God's-
fit like a glove. Everything just works so beautiful. And if you want to see more, we do have a short video of our wedding, so you can go and look in our videos.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, we can also put it there. And so we have a video of our wedding. We have also a video of a song my brother composed for us that was
Yeah.
just so beautiful to have both of our brothers share that day. But my brother is a composer, into music, and he just shared kind of from his perspective our story. So you can see a little bit more as well through that. And
Yes. And that's why for us, marriage is a miracle. It's not something that you just see, oh, we fall in love and we fall out of love. Oh, no, we fall in love again. Not that. It has to be God led and two worlds coming together, and it has to be only God that can bring together, right? It's not just two people trying to come together and make things happen. No, it has to be something, a bigger power, a higher power that keeps us together. And throughout, and there is more miracles that we have not shared. Maybe we should make a separate podcast on that.
all on the wedding preparations, because there's so many things from tips to resources to things we learn, and it might help someone as well to get some ideas. But I had one other question related to love marriage. And how was it? Many people say they're so scared and afraid the day they're going to get married. They get cold feet, like a lot of different things, or they're shaking so much. How was it for you?
I was ready for the day to be over.
Why?
Honestly, I don't know. I have, like, not in a bad way, but for me, I was thinking, okay, so how this is all going to go, because I've attended others' weddings, but I have not been married before, so I don't know how it feels. So part of me was like, let this be over. But the other part of me is like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to be married. So let's do this, you know? But never, I don't know, people ask me those questions like, did you feel nervous when you were going to ask Debbie to be in relationship? No, I was happy to be in the relationship. The only thing is that I was wondering if she was going to say yes or no. I was not like nervous or scared or anything, because I knew where I stood and I knew that you were also interested in me. But of course, it can go both ways. But I asked you, same thing with the engagement. I was not nervous if you were going to say yes or no, because I knew I wanted to get married to you. And I also knew that you wanted to get married to me as well. So for me, it was more of a joyful thing, an exciting thing to make things happen. And when it came to our wedding day, I was very excited. I was thrilled. In fact, I even shared with some of our friends that came and attended. I was like, it feels like I am in clouds. I'm like, I'm not even, it feels like it's happening in my dream. And I remember them saying like, yeah, that's how it'll feel for a few days for you. Because they got married. This Rena and Austin, they got married the same year, but in the beginning of the year. So they said the same thing too. Like it does feel like that. Don't worry about it. After a few days, it'll be gone and it'll be real. But in reality, 2 years later, I still tell Debbie like, we are married. Did you know that? You know that we both are married, right? so sometimes I have that realization every now and then come in, and it excites me. But I never had cold feet, or I was never nervous. The only thing was that, how is this all going to go? That's what was going through my mind. I was not. Yeah. How about for you?
I was super relaxed. We decided to actually get a big Airbnb and have all family, close family and friends come and spend a few days together to just
Yeah.
fellowship before the wedding day, which can be so busy, and then you're all gone. So it was like, for us, that quality time, it was very valuable. So that was like beautiful memories. We were there on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Started the moment of like Sunday and Monday. Okay, let's get things ready. And I started, to go out with my parents to get flowers and to finish things that I needed to get done. And then finalize whatever we needed to buy for the reception and the drinks. And so those 2 days were more busy and just getting my things ready, my, things for the honeymoon and kind of separate things. And because it was a destination wedding, we had our car filled with all the decorations and this and that. So it was quite a journey. I don't know if I would do it exactly the same again, but it was fun. I don't regret it. I enjoyed it.
Once in a lifetime.
You do it and that's it. You enjoyed it. But so those were busy 2 days before the wedding, the Sunday and the Monday. And then just we decided to write our wedding vows, and so taking time to do that in advance, because some nights it gets late trying to finalize details, and my brother himself was trying to finish the video he was doing for us as a surprise, but he would stay late on his computer just doing his surprise. And so it was a fun time as a family being together and just sharing that. And then the day of the wedding, I had planned, everything else was kind of pre-planned. We had a lot of amazing friends and family that helped with like setting up the tables and just the reception. And since it was a small wedding, it wasn't as complicated, but still, it's always a lot of work. The day of the wedding, I was just kind of focused that I would just get ready, enjoy the day, and that's it. That was my only goal. And it was really nice, actually. And I didn't feel stressed at all. I almost felt like such a peace and a calmness that I was like, is everything okay? Like, is this normal or not? It's something you envisioned your whole life coming, and then the day is there and you feel completely like safe. Like you're marrying your best friend. You're marrying someone you know. So it's like, okay, it's just we're sealing our lives together. But it was not stressful, like, oh, who will this guy be? Or what am I doing? Or will I regret it? None of that. Even though it is a new chapter. And suddenly it kicks in, like, okay, now we're going to be together. And, okay, it's going to be another level in our friendship that is going to be new for both of us. So that was kind of just, like, here and there in the reception, it kicked me, like, okay, now we're gonna be husband and wife, like like now it's not gonna continue like before. It's gonna be deeper, and
we're gonna be in the same house, same room.
Yes, that was totally new. Like none of us had been married before, so it was like a new unknown thing, but in a way so beautiful.
It was
So I guess the to summarize my feelings was just peace, anticipation, and just going with the flow.
And that's why it is easier to fall in love and get married than just arranged marriage. But again, I'm not saying no to arranged marriage at all. Different people have different ways of moving forward in life, and sometimes parents will have to be there to guide their children, however old they might be, to lead them. And then after that, it is the couple's responsibility. But
we love what God led us to, and our story, we believe it's a miracle that God has done, the miracle of love. And yeah, we will share on another episode how our marriage started and how was all of that. But we're just so grateful. And I think we will leave this episode for here.
Yes.
For here.
We hope this episode has been a blessing to you. And if you are still single and you are still in the process of finding the one God has kept for you, don't lose hope. We are here to tell you that God is in control and God will provide you the one according to His will. Right? Sometimes we tend to push to make things happen. We don't have to. God knows when to bring in.
And
maybe,
it's so worth the wait.
yes. And maybe you have been waiting for a long time and think that you're not going to get married, but you never know. If God has it in His plan, He will make things happen. Maybe you should stay in the place, mingle with people, build good friendships, and before you know it, things will happen. Yeah.
God has good thoughts, and His timing is perfect.